Dzień dobry.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Witam Państwa, nie znoszę mikrofonów, ale muszę mówić do mikrofonu do tych osób, które łączą się z nami przy pomocy internetu.
Because some of you are online. We've gathered here today to hear the results of the International Students Competition Łobzów Courtyard that was organized by the Faculty of Architecture. So let me invite the Dean, Magdalena Kozień-Woźniak, to give you the opening and open officially this ceremony, and she will explain this competition and its facts. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're gathered here in this conference room at the Cracow Technical University. And I also want to welcome all of you here who are online with us. I would like to welcome you on behalf of our members of the Academia, members of Cracow University of Technology. Let me welcome His Magnificence Professor Andrzej Szarata, our rector.
Jest też z nami prorektor.
And then we have with us today the Deputy Rector of our University of Technology, Professor Tomasz Kapecki.
Bardzo serdecznie witam. Jest z nami online
Ladies and
pan
gentlemen,
Kazu Blumfeld-Hanada z
we
Münster.
have also online Professor Kazu Hanada from Münster, who is a member of the jury of this competition. I would also like to welcome Professor Łukasz Stożek, who chaired the jury of the competition.
Są też z nami online
Then we have with us
przewodniczący
online Marek Kaszyński, who is the chairman of our Chamber of Cracow Architects. And we also have our colleague Magdalena Buczyńska-Zapała from our Cracow branch of the Association of Architects. We also have representatives of the media. We have the editor-in-chief of Architektura and e-Business, Architecture and Business Monthly. I would also like to welcome cordially
będących tutaj dzisiaj z nami w sali, ale też
members of our students community, and I also believe that we have many participants who entered this competition. This is why we're here today. I can also see some
autorów prac, także bardzo się cieszę. Proszę Państwa,
teachers, professors who come with the authors of the works submitted to this competition. Rector, Sir, Your Magnificence, thank you very much for this initiative. You came forward with this initiative to organize competitions, to award winners. So this concept, this idea has been with us for many years, that Łobzów Palace needs to be expanded, needs to be developed, and we are very active in planning a beautiful city park, urban park in front of this palace. And this courtyard concept is yet another stage, which in our opinion would just make this whole concept of our Faculty of Architecture of this university complete. So, Sir Rector, thank you very much for this initiative again. Thank you very much for your support. So, without further ado, let me give the floor to His Magnificence the Rector. Sir, over to you.
Dzień dobry Państwu, witam Was serdecznie.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in the walls of Cracow University of Technology. I'm speaking on behalf of all our members of the Academia. I have my background in civil engineering, and when 6 months ago, I asked I came up with the idea of this competition. I was very much shocked by this professional approach, the beautiful design of the leaflet, and then announcing this project, and then I was shocked by the fact that we received 70 concepts, 70 ideas. As a civil engineer, I expected some sketches, some basic concepts, but I was truly and very nicely surprised looking at what you prepared, your visualizations, your materials, your thorough preparations, your designs and drawings. That is amazing that we have such talented people who know how to put their idea to work, present them on paper. Then we have excellent members of the academia, excellent professionals who can lead you and show you the right way. I, as a rector, see it as great assistance and great help. When we need to convert something, we need a lot of money. To get the funding, we can count on the ministry to support us, and we will use your works, your designs, to look for funding, to raise the necessary funding for this idea. So trust me, your designs, your concepts will not be covered in dust on my shelves. I'll use them, and to a good purpose. So thank you very much again. I would like to thank very much the members of the jury. They invested a lot of their time, a lot of their work, and thank you very much for actively participating in our competition. Thank you very much, sir. And now, let's try and connect with Professor Hanada. Sir, over to you.
Please speak up to our students.
Right. Can you hear me?
Yes?
Right. Okay. I was not sure. Yeah. This was a great honor to participate in the discussion along the competition of the Faculty of Architecture from Berlin here. I would like to give my gratitude to Professor Kozień-Woźniak and Professor Zarata for the invitation of the jury, and Professor Dr. Stoczek and other jury members, including a student jury, for quite intense discussion of the competition. It was truly an interesting experience, wide range of aspects of the site. Through the variety of the project, a few important themes appeared clearly in order to discuss the new possibilities of the extension of the Faculty of Architecture. To my concern, there were three significant themes. Number one is the dialectic with the history and new aesthetic. The competition has an assignment to extend a new architecture next to historical main building, which is originated back to the 14th century. By respecting the historical substance, while proposing new architecture, a synergistic effect between the old and new could bring new dimension, which not only old or not only new architecture can reach. Secondly, a question of new architecture typology or new type of function. This may be an opportunity to discover or invent new architecture typology or new type of function. The way of studying in a university may be transformed. Instead of conventional function like classical lecture halls, new typology of space where students can meet casually for the discussion or even chill out for the new communication. Those new open space has a potential to open to the public for new typology of public space in the natural atmosphere of courtyard. And number three, a new definition of nature and sustainability. Historically, from the beginning of the emerge of the royal palace, existence of the garden has been always an important role of this place. For instance, the era of Queen Bona Forza in the 16th century, architect Santiguchi has designed extensive 12-compartment garden complex. The actual courtyard is surrounded not only by the historical facade, but also by the beautiful existing nature. The possible argument here can be that by superimposing new typology of architecture, how we can redefine this nature different. The theme sustainability could also discuss from this point of view. And now those were some considerations which appeared from the whole entries of the competition. I would like to congratulate all the winners, as well for the entries for the gold and the honorable mention and environmental prize. All the student works became a huge milestone to the future planning of the faculty. Thank you again for your participation, and again, congratulations.
Hello. Thank you very much, professor. W takim razie poprosimy teraz panią Małgorzatę.
Okay, so Małgorzata Tomczyk, the editor-in-chief of Architektura i Biznes, Architecture and Business Monthly.
Dziękuję bardzo. Szanowny panie rektorze, szanowna pani dziekan, szanowni studenci,
Madam Dean, dear jury,
ogromnie się cieszę,
members of the jury and participants,
jak strasznie one są
competitors in the competition. I would like to emphasize the importance of competitions, and in our monthly we collect a database of competitions, all national and local and regional competitions. We believe it is vital to participate in such competitions. At the University of Economics in Krakow, a report was published on reinforcing the social and local factor in shaping the space, where we emphasize the importance of such competitions. And then we also signed a pact for space. Point 7 is about the importance of competitions. With competitions, participants, architects can come up with design concepts and visions. Such competitions translate into the quality of the public space. And I'm very proud that I can be here with you today. I count very much on your fundraising options and outlooks, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing the results of this competition. Thank you, and we are also very hopeful. So, Professor Klaudia Stala, could you please tell us in more detail about the entire concept and the leading theme of the competition? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here to congratulate you on your achievements in this amazing competition, and also congratulate you on your challenge, which involved facing up to the difficulties, providing solutions for this exceptional piece of architecture. As an archaeologist, I would like to share with you some information that we have as of now about the site, and I would like to share with you the status of research. And our local researchers, members of our university, were involved in the archaeological studies on that site too. So very briefly, I have this 15 to 20-minute presentation on the transformation transfiguration of the site, which now hosts the Faculty of Architecture of this university. So, let me start with a very brief comment on the historical sources that have been preserved from the onset, from early 20th century. Well, researchers, scientists analyzed these transformations and proposed certain solutions. When you look at the slide, you will see that Łobzów was owned by Polish kings. And the beginnings of that site go back to the 14th century. We have some preserved historical sources dating back to the 15th century. They include some very brief mentions of the site. We know that it did exist, and we have this very brief Latin characteristics of that site. Curia Regalis, with Castellum was a castle. Curia Regalis, it was a turrim, a tower. So that was like a fortress, a stronghold built by the King Casimir the Great. It is likely that this tower was supported by some ancillary buildings or sites. Then, the next stage in the history of that structure and of that site is the phase mentioned here by Professor Hanada. So that was the time when the Polish King Stefan Batory ruled in Poland, the end of the 16th century. He engaged an outstanding architect, Santi Gucci, to work on that property. We have a document dating back to that period which lists the works of the architect. So, for your information, nothing has changed since then. It's always up to the investor to approve or disapprove certain concepts. So with that, Santi Gucci developed a palace-like structure. He also mentioned an old tenement house. So this is the first mention of the original tower, which must have been incorporated into that structure. Then the next architectural interference took place in the times of the King Sigismundus III. Giovanni Trevano converted that site to Baroque style. During the Swedish War, Krakow suffered considerably and the site was destroyed and in ruins, and as late as in mid-19th century, Felix Księżarski came up with a new concept on the basis of then existing status of the site. He was asked to expand the building and turn it into a cadet college. So the building, the site was extended and expanded westwards, and all the remnants of the royal castle were turned into the eastern wing, and the axis was the entrance to the building, which was the remnant after the former royal castle and its western wing. And after 1945, the site was handed over to the University of Technology of Cracow, and after 1994, the building was converted and adapted to its academic functions.
Ogromnym zaangażowaniu badaczy od początku XX.
I would like to emphasize a great engagement of researchers and members of the academia. So I listed here great members of the academia who published many studies on architecture and design and culture. We have some names from our chair of the history of architecture, engagement into publications, some publications that have been published since the beginning of this century. What we are missing here is the local architectural analysis in the sense of archaeological research and studies. We can see that since 1960s, certain archaeological research has been performed, and there were some distinguished archaeologists engaged. In 1999, because of the conversion and modernization of the site in its western side, where our dean resides, I had the pleasure of being engaged in some research and archaeological studies in order to protect and preserve the building. Some of you may be aware that we have installed a lift in that side of the building, but before that, we had to carry out some research. So here you can see stage by stage the transformation of the site. So first we have the medieval site or building, which we can only visualize because we do not have sufficient material or physical remnants of that building to reconstruct it completely. So on the left side we have the tower, and on the right side we have this residential part. Then we have two drawings, two plans from the times of Santi Gucci. Santi Gucci worked in two stages. So first we have palace-like concept, and the final outcome, final effect is the one that's settled. The affairs that came up with the final concept. So first, this tower had been absorbed, and then two residential houses were built, the western and the eastern house, and connected with arcades, and that created a closed form on a square-like plan with the open courtyard. So that was designed by Santi Gucci, and then this concept, this structure was expanded by Giovanni Trevano. He added the western wing, opening the whole structure to the garden and converting the building in the Baroque style. In red, I marked two stages that date back to the Renaissance period. So this phase is now being analyzed by an art historian, a young art historian who analyzes the only preserved Latin language sources. We do not have any sources left in Polish. Then we have some Ph.D. works on the stage dating back to the times of the Polish king John III Sobieski. He left here his beloved spouse Maria Kazimiera before rushing to the Vienna battle. Then attempts were made to visualize conversion, development, history of that site stage by stage. They were tasked with this difficult challenge to find all the available sources. So the oldest part, dating back to the times of King Casimir the Great, was found underneath the planned foundation and lower shaft of the lift. So we finally found that tower. The research also shows that our coffee room in the cellars had some traces of the original 14th century walls and cellars. So here our PhD students prepared a visualization, and I'm just emphasizing the fact that we cannot be 100% sure what the site looked like back then. Then, this is Santi Gucci's phase. Santi Gucci worked all over Poland on King's request and order. Some of his buildings have been preserved in a fairly good stage. So we have some details preserved of these sites, and so there were some very beautiful, quite robust portals. There is one on the way to the Dean's office. So we have that portal, which we can see right here. This is right here. And then we have half-closed corridors. Then we have the axis of the existing building. Then we have the eastern part that devoured the tower. And this is the concept of the original facade and the visualization and the whole settings. So this is the visualization of the site with these ponds fed by the Młynówka River, and beautiful gardens stretching up north. Then the next stage, these are works from Ph.D. school, so the times of Giovanni Trevano, adding this additional wing from the south. Well, that roofing somehow covered that part, and the dean resides here, and this is where the main entrance used to be, and this window used to be the main portal. So this is what the site looks like, a major stylistic change, and the whole site is styled in the Baroque style. Giovanni Trevano also worked all over the country and left numerous objects on request of the king. And finally, let me just show you and mention the materials that we've been using in our research work when uncovering each layer stage by stage. Unfortunately, we have very few sources and options. We need to verify the veracity of sources. So this is the portal which I mentioned. We have a fragment of that portal. We have some beautiful parts preserved. We analyze by comparison elements of the architecture. We analyzed the preserved iconographic sources, and then art historians and historians come up with analysis of written sources. Here we have some pictures from the archaeological research. That part was originally designated to be used as the foundation for the lift. And here the builders and us found remnants of the 14th century wall. And on top of that, some 17th and 18th century window solutions were added on it. So for some reason, some historical walls were added here in this southeastern fragment. So this is what it's left in that building, and you can admire it when moving up and down on the stairs in that part of the building. We left it for us to remember the history of this site. And here, that was a part of the rescue operation, archaeological works in 1999. We uncovered 17th century floor-tiled floor, and some Renaissance or early Baroque architectural details. This is what comparatistics is all about. So here we have Warsaw Royal Castle, and that's our site. And this is Ujazdów Castle, built by Santi Gucci. So again, materials that were collected for comparative studies. So here our PhD students were looking for analogies in order to come up with visualization. And finally, on my last slide, see some drawing and sketches presenting that palace as romantic ruins. So these are 19th century sketches and drawings of romantic nature. But in a way, they carry certain historical information which cannot be disregarded. That was my last slide, and I thank you very much for your attention.
Bardzo dziękuję pani profesor. Mam nadzieję, że teraz...
Professor, we're very grateful for your presentation. Perhaps our students, after hearing all that, would change their works entirely, or maybe not. So, Professor Łukasz Stożek will be introducing the jury and present the results of the competition. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First, let me thank all members of the jury. They were listed by Madam Dean, so we have Professor Kazo Blumfeld-Hanada and His Eminence Director. And then we have Marek Kaszyński, who is the chairman of the Regional Chamber of Architects, Magdalena Buczyńska-Zapała, who is the acting chairwoman of Cracow Society of Architects, and then we have the president of Cracow Students' Union of this technical university. And let me also mention Dr. Małgorzata Hryniewicz, the secretary of the commission. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. She invested a lot of work into preparing this competition, so we are very grateful. 103 teams or participants entered the competition. Then we received 70 works, including 11 works outside, from the outside, not from this university. Then we had some works from Madrid, Seville, Cluj, Romanian University, then from the Technical University of Silesia and Białystok. So the array of work, the range range of works that we were analyzing was quite wide. I would like to thank the entire team. We had these fascinating conversations with Professor Hanada, and we were analyzing the concepts. We were thinking about the key points in that concept. And when you check the winners, the successful works, you will see the variety of options. It was about collecting best ideas. And I would like to thank you, dear participants, by taking part in this competition. You provided us with some food for thought, with some ideas and concept of what it should look like. And we can see it clearly in the works which are presented here at the entrance to this hall. And then, of course, all the works that we received, they'll be published in a special folder, and you'll be able to have a closer look at that. So we have some more traditional works, and then we have more in-depth going solutions. We have some terrain solutions that allow for the option of going up to the roofs and wandering around the entire structure. So the array of concepts is quite rich and wide. So let us move on to that key part of this ceremony and to let us present the winners and our honorable mentions in this competition.
Czy możemy prosić pana rektora o wręczenie?
Sir, Your Eminence the Rector, could you please come up here to give awards to our winners?
Poczekamy jeszcze na planszę. Dobrze. Zaczynamy od wyróżnienia honorowego.
Right. Let us start with an honorable mention this competition.
Machury.
It goes to Robert Machura, who is a student of this Technical University of Cracow.
Praca powstała pod kierunkiem pana doktora inżyniera architekta
Robert Machura worked under
profesora PK. Serdecznie
under the direction of Professor Jacek Czubiński, who is a member of our faculty.
Teraz będzie nagroda
Now, a special award for the best environmental solution.
Tą nagrodę otrzymuje
And this award
Kacper. To będzie zespół, tak?
goes to
Bo ja tutaj mam napisane tylko... Aha, dobrze.
team.
Dobrze. To ja może wymienię pierwszą osobę. Jest
Okay, so let me mention the first person, Kacper Żak, a special award for environmental solution.
Może od razu wymienię kolejne osoby. Marta
So let me
Schlepper,
list
Patryk
all members
Tatara, Jakub Srogosz.
of that team.
A opiekunem tej grupy jest doktor
The
inżynier
patron
architekt
of that
Filip
group
Suchoń. Serdecznie
Is
gratulujemy.
Filip Suchoń, Ph.D. architect.
I mamy.
Kolejna nagroda, którą chcieliśmy
we have
przekazać,
golden
to jest
mention.
wyróżnienie dla pani
This golden mention goes to Martyna Czekańska. Is she with us?
Opiekunem pani Martyny
Well, this gold mention,
jest doktor inżynier architekt Marcin Gierbieniec.
Martynia Czekańska.
Nie, to tutaj teraz. Tak. Drugie wyróżnienie, które...
Then we have the next.
Drugie wyróżnienie, które mamy zaszczyt wręczyć, jest dla zespołu
Then we have the honor
pani Zofii
to give
Staszel i
another
pani Sary
gold mention.
Bujakowskiej.
It is a team of Zofia Staszel and Sara Bujakowska.
Pani Zofia. Proszę bardzo, a drugie pani nie ma. Proszę.
I teraz mamy, proszę państwa, już nagrody.
And now let us move on to
Będziemy mieli znowu dla
the
zespołu,
awards.
który składa się z kilku...
So third prize
Pani
goes to a team of several
Starula,
members.
Olga Strejczek,
So the third prize goes to the team
Sara
composed
Florek.
of Eliza Starula, Olga Strejczyk, Jakub Miśniakiewicz, Sara Florek.
A, bo to trzeba dać jeszcze ten. Tak. Pani Eliza. Teraz mamy panią Olgę. Proszę. Pan Jakub. Proszę. Bardzo proszę. I teraz oczywiście już nie ma innej możliwości.
Ja jeszcze może wspomnę oczywiście, że opiekunem...
And then let me mention
doktor inżynier
that
architekt
the
Łukasz
team
Olman. Serdeczne
worked
gratulacje.
under the patronage and with the assistance of Łukasz Oldman,
No i proszę państwa, zbliżamy się
architect
do
and engineer.
nominacji.
And now the second prize of 6,000 zloty
Pani
that
Zuzanna
goes
Czop,
to
która-
Zuzanna Czop.
Zuzanna,
Is
zapraszamy
she with
serdecznie,
us?
która przygotowała pracę pod kierunkiem pana doktora inżyniera.
Zuzanna Czop worked under the direction of engineer Maciej Gierbienisz.
No i proszę państwa, główna nagroda,
And
którą otrzymuje
the first prize
pan
of 12,000 zloty that goes to Piotr Mazur,
pod
who
kierunkiem
worked
doktora
under the
Pawła
directions
Żuka.
of Paweł
Serdecznie
Żuk,
gratulujemy.
Ph.D. architect engineer. Our heartful congratulations.
Mogę usiąść, tak?
Tak. Serdecznie wszystkim państwu gratulujemy.
We
Osobom
congratulate
wyróżnionym,
all of you,
które
all
wygrały. I bardzo
those who
dziękujemy jeszcze
received
raz
honorable
za
mentions,
włożony
gold
wysiłek
mentions,
pracy tych,
and
które zostały
these
wyróżnione,
prizes.
wyróżnione.
Thank you very
Naprawdę
much for your
wyróżniały się,
effort.
nie
These
tylko pod kątem rozwiązań
works,
architektonicznych,
these
ale
designs
także
that were
pod
presented
kątem
were not only
przygotowanych planów. Naprawdę
very
wreszcie na
special
bardzo
in
miło
terms
było
of
te
solutions
prace
offered, but
oglądać.
also in terms of the quality
Dziękujemy.
of workmanship
Przekazuję
that went into the preparation. So thank you very much again. Professor,
Ja
thank you
chciałem
very
podziękować
much.
wszystkim za przybycie.
I would like to thank all of you for coming. I would like to thank His Magnificence Director for his patronage.
Którzy są z nami
So
w internecie, no niestety nie mogą
please
być z nami, ale
wave to all those who are watching us online. They couldn't be with us, but let's wave them hello and let's switch off cameras.
Nie, no teraz po prostu chciałem Państwa zaprosić, bo co będę zapraszał ludzi, których nie ma.